Hello guys, today I'm bringing for your viewing pleasure another vintage fountain pen that I had in my collection for a couple of years now. It's a piston filler. It was made in Germany, and can you guess what it actually is? I'll give you a second to try and figure out what it might be. Okay, did you by any chance guess the Pelican? Well, I mean, you would be wrong, but I wouldn't blame you for thinking it's a Pelican. I'll be honest, first time I saw it on eBay, that's what I ended up purchasing it from. I thought it was a Pelican and somebody actually misprinted the name of the pen. But no, this turned out to be an Aero fountain pen, which used to be a German company. And I think the story is that it was a German company and that it was owned by a Dutch company. Interesting fountain pen. I mean, the similarities between Pelican and especially the M200 are quite almost spot on, I would say. You can still find Aero fountain pens online to purchase them on eBay. I actually did a quick search before making the video, and you can find what I think it was, I guess, a student version of this fountain pen. It looks slightly different. It has the rounded ends. I believe it's still a piston filler. It still comes with an ink window and a different nib. But one big difference between this and the other one is that the student version seems to come with like a wrap around decal on the barrel and on the cap. This one is just plastic, just plain plastic, nothing wrapped around it. And even the cap, even though it has like this diamonds, embedded diamonds, or diamonds look like, that sparkles. And no, it's not a wraparound. It's actually embedded in the shellac or whatever they used for the pen. And it has a little bit of depth to it. I'm not sure if the camera can capture it, but it looks like these small speckles are at different levels inside. And it has a really nice depth. On the cap, you actually can open the top cap, so you can replace the clip or bend it in place if by any chance you had the misfortune to bend it. And it's a nice clip actually, very similar with the Pelican, fairly stiff but very usable. A little bit pokey at the end, so if you grab on this pretty hard, you'll feel it. I mean, it won't hurt you, but it will definitely leave a dimple in there when you try and lift it. Compared with the Pelican, since I mean they're very similar, the weight, they're actually quite the same. And this is a modern Pelican, the modern M200. The beautiful thing about this fountain pen, however, is the nib that it comes with. It's a tiny but mighty number 3, looks like, nib. And it's an actual classic flex nib. It bounces and flexes pretty nicely. It's a pleasure to write with this thing. I haven't used it for drawing, so today will be interesting when I'm gonna do my ink sketch with it. Hopefully it will turn out okay. Anyway, sticking with the nib it's an actual nib unit, so you can unscrew. The nib unit doesn't have any O-rings on it, it's just the threads that are actually fairly secure. And just like the Pelican, it has this feed. Word wasn't coming to my mind. It has the feed sticking out through this middle portion, but unlike the Pelican, the feed, and it's a little bit slightly different. And no, unfortunately, the Pelican nib unit does not fit this pen. Just wanted to show you how the feed actually looks like. It's actually a very interesting design feed. It has this line in the middle that kind of follows the same line that you have. The split between the tines on the nib, and a very curved shape with the arrow stamped 14K nib number 3. Fit in the hand, it's actually pretty nice. Depending how you hold it, it might be okay without a cap or with a cap. For me, it's just about there. The end of the cap rests on the ball of my finger. That's where I usually have the pressure of the pen, and it's okay. I can use it without the cap, but this one actually prefer to cap it, and the cap posts quite securely with it has a little bit of click actually. I hope my mic picked it up. And as soon as you post it, it's actually even better, size-wise. Balance with the cap on, posted, it balances almost on the ring of the cap. It posts this dip, and without the cap, it's actually bang on in the middle, which is quite nice. Things to note though, if by any chance you find this copy and you end up buying one of them, when you have the pen posted, try and don't spin this. You're gonna have, don't spin the cap, because you're gonna have a big chance of actually moving the piston up and down. Speaking of the piston, for its age, it's fairly smooth. Not as smooth as probably was brand new, and I did added some silicone grease onto it. Unfortunately, I don't know how to remove this piston filler to service it properly. There are no notches, there are no holes, there's nothing in there to tell me how in the world can I remove this. If anybody has any idea, please let me know. I would like to take it apart and do a proper service on it. I know that the Pelican M200, it's actually press fitted, so you could remove it if you really need to do a service on it. But since this fountain pen is fairly rare on the market, I'll be honest, I haven't seen one like it since I managed to find it on eBay. I don't want to ruin it. So for now, it works. I'm not going to complain about it. And if by any chance the piston filler will stop working, the good thing about it, it's once you remove the nib unit, there's quite a big hole in there. And you could most probably just fill it like an eyedropper with a pipette or something like that. And you don't have to use the piston at all, if by any chance it will fail on me. But it will be nice to service it. So if you have any ideas, I would kindly appreciate if you let me know. And that's about the fountain pen. Not much to say. Size and weight are in the description if you're curious to know what they are. And I guess let me show you how you fill it up. For today's sketch, I'm gonna use again my one of my favorite inks, which is platinum carbon ink. I like it more about when compared with the Noodler's black because it dries a little bit faster and gives me chance to actually erase the marks that I do with a pencil. I tried to do that with the Noodler's brush. It looked like it was dry, but actually it smudged my entire paper. I wasn't very happy about it. Sorry, I always forget to do this. Okay, so like any piston filler, you just put it in all the way to the filler hole. I'm gonna do it again just to make sure I get a full. Okay, there was some air still in it. I like how the ink actually just, it didn't stick to the nib at all. And then usually after I fill it in, I like to put down at least 2 drops. Just cleaning this section. Not much cleaning to be done on the nib, which I like. Okay, let me put the ink bottle away. And let's give it a quick try and see how it writes. Now, I'm not an actual flexer, but I do like flex nibs. It lays down a very nice wet line. Like it's really wet. I might have issues with with the drawing because it looks like the. I never had issues with this paper with feathering, especially with platinum carboning, but it looks like this one actually has some issues. It writes on reverse, so actually a very thin line on reverse. Very wet. Wow, that's a lot of ink from this nib. This is. Okay, I got it to reload a little bit. I was pushing it maybe too much. But you can definitely get this line. All right. A little bit scared, to be honest, for drawing. I forgot how wet this nib was. Cool. So let me try and attempt a sketch with this one. So for today, I was planning to do another ink sketch of 2 flowers, in this case 2 tulips, as well inspired by one of my photos that you can see on the screen right now, taken a couple of years back. Now that I tested the nib again, and I realize how wet it is, it should be interesting how it will fare on this paper. And I'm a little bit scared, to be honest with you. Because, wow, this is wet. All right, so this is not going to be a fine line as I was expecting it to be. So let's see. I'll give it a try. Anyway, I'll speed up through this process. Feel free to skip it if you want. And I'll come back with the conclusions. Okay, this was a very interesting one actually. As I was saying at the beginning before I start drawing, I had a feeling that this fountain pen won't really like that much drawing. The nib doesn't seem to be very suited for drawing. First of all, the line doesn't seem to be very consistent as you need it for drawing. So I kind of had to work with what I had, and well, the end result is not exactly what I wanted, but it'll do. It turned out interesting in a way. Shading is not the best, but kind of interesting. I won't lie. Yeah, the ink was so wet that I mean, in some parts it's still not fully dry. It's still drying. You're probably gonna need a couple of hours to actually dry. And I noticed that as you're trying to draw with it, while it flexes quite nicely and puts it down a wet line, it won't hold up if you keep on doing quick strokes. And then it basically runs out of ink and you have to wait a couple of seconds for it to catch up. To speed up things here and there, actually, I was turning the piston knob to get the feed saturated with ink, and that will keep me for a couple of minutes going. The problem with that is, though, the more you put ink into the feed, the wetter the line will get. So by default, it's already a very wet line. Adding more ink makes it basically gush a lot of ink out of it. Well, you can definitely do some interesting drawing as long as you're not trying to be very accurate about things and just want to play around with it. It'll work, not a problem. But definitely this is much more suited for writing, not drawing. Anyway, this is the Ethereal fountain pen, a very interesting fountain pen. I really like it. Very simple, very clean, easy to use, and that flex nib for writing, I know a lot of people probably would enjoy that, right? I mean, again, it's kind of hard to find the fountain pen, the actual fountain pen, but if you do, would I recommend it? Well, if you like a wet line with a classic flex nib, yes, I would definitely recommend that. Probably don't use any carbon ink based. I think maybe it might dry it out. I'm actually going to clean it. I'm not going to leave it inked. I'll put it back into the drawer. This was I just took it out just to share it and show it, and at the same time I was really curious if that flex nib would be good for drawing. Would I recommend it again? Yes, I would recommend it if you like a flex nib, and obviously as long as you write better flex, you do better calligraphy than I do, you'll definitely enjoy this fountain pen. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for spending your time watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and at least you found something interesting. And I guess I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care. Bye.